You know that one friend? They're on social media, you see them liking things, maybe they're in a tagged photo, but their own feed, it's a total ghost town. It's so easy to jump to conclusions, isn't it? But what if there's way more to it? Today, we're going to explore the really fascinating psychology behind why some people choose to stay silent online.
So before we get to the real answer, we've got to talk about some of the common assumptions we all make. You could call it the social media myth.
I mean, really think about it. We live in this world that basically begs us to share every little thing. So what's the deal with the people who just don't? Our brains usually jump to some pretty quick judgments. Yeah, we tend to think there's something missing, right? Maybe they're too shy for that kind of attention, or maybe they're insecure about their life, or, maybe their life is just plain boring. But what if all of those assumptions are completely off the mark?
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about a powerful idea from psychology that gives us a totally different way to look at this. It's called the internal anchor.
So psychologists suggest that choosing not to post is actually a sign of strength, not some kind of weakness. It has almost nothing to do with being shy or insecure. It actually points to something much, much deeper. And that brings us to the core of it. These people are what we call internally anchored. Just think about that phrase for a second. An anchor. It means they don't need all that external stuff, the likes, the comments, the shares, to feel like they exist, to feel real. Their sense of self is already locked in.
So what does it actually feel like to be internally anchored? What does that look like day to day? Well, it's about finding a kind of stability in silence. For these folks, silence isn't some empty void. It's stable. It's a space where you don't have to perform for anyone. And, this is crucial, it lets them keep total ownership of their own story. They get to be the author, the editor, and the audience of their own life, without having to put it out there for public approval.
Now, this way of thinking is a huge contrast to the usual online experience, right? It's about consciously stepping away from a game that, let's be honest, a lot of us are playing without even knowing it.
And there's a perfect name for that game, the silent contest. You know what I'm talking about. It's that unspoken competition, comparing our vacations, our jobs, our relationships, our entire lives, really, against everyone else's highlight reels. People with an internal anchor just choose not to play.
And this chart really breaks down the difference. You've got two ends of the spectrum here. On one side, you have the externally driven person, whose self-worth could feel like a roller coaster, going up and down with every like and comment. That's where that pressure to post comes from. But on the other side, you've got the internally anchored mindset. Validation comes from inside, so they could just opt out of the whole contest and find real peace in that decision.
So what's the big takeaway for all of us, whether we're posting all the time or just lurking in the background? It all comes down to finding your own anchor.
Look, the point here is not that posting is bad and being silent is good. It's definitely not about telling you to delete all your apps. The real message here is about self-awareness. It's about stopping to ask yourself, why am I posting this? Am I sharing because it brings me joy, or am I doing it because I need that validation?
And that leaves us with this one last, really personal question. Is your sense of self, your feeling of being real, anchored in the shifting sands of what other people think online? Or is it anchored somewhere deeper, somewhere more stable, somewhere that's completely within your control? So, where is your anchor?